y'all, it's Fang Pipsqueak Reads, and I finished another book! Yay! I actually decided I've been feeling a little bit of a writing burnout. Might be because it's been hell. Like, this August was a hell. I managed to write 3 short stories, like, in a month. All longhand, mind you. And yeah, I'm just a little bit tired, so I decided to give myself a little bit of a break and just sit down and read. And I've been enjoying Short Story September a lot because I've just been able to sit down, read a couple of short stories and like a day, and it's just a lot of fun. So I finished The Razorblades in My Head by Donnie Goodman. As you can see, it's not a huge short story collection. It has how many stories? It has 12 short stories in it. It's about 121 pages, I think. And it also includes, acknowledgements and then some notes from the author when he was, his ideas and when he wrote the stories and stuff. And it's self-published by Donnie Goodman. So, to give you a little bit of an idea what the stories entail, scars are not a sign of where we have healed, they are a reminder of what we have buried beneath the skin. It's a quote from the first story, The Razorblades in My Head. So what these stories entail are a talking toaster, a crabbing voyage that descends into chaos, malevolent snowman, the debut of a mysterious indie wrestler, a sacrifice in need of an hourglass, a paranormal cremator in search of a friend, and other choice cuts from the mind of Donnie Goodman. The Razorblades have emerged, it is time to dig. So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff put into this short story collection, and you can definitely see, based on the amazing cover done by Justin T. Coon. Am I right? Yes, Justin T. Coons. I got it. He hand-painted this himself. He is an extremely talented artist, and if you ever are in need of a book cover, you should definitely contact him, because I intend to do that sometime. Hopefully, when I finish my stuff. Anyway, so basically what you can see from the cover itself, it basically features all of the stories, at least most of them. And judging from the cover itself, you're gonna have a good time. These stories were a lot of fun. They were a really easy read. It wasn't filled with any like flowery prose or anything like that. Donnie just gets straight to the point. He doesn't want you to lie in waiting or anything like that. He just delivers to you fast. And that's how I felt when I was reading it. I managed to finish it in 2 days, which is quite good. It's not a lot. It's not like a really good feat, I think. But for me, considering that I'm working like full time and I never have time to read, I thought it was pretty good. So yeah. So of these 12 stories, I really liked. I liked all of them. They were enjoyable. But there were 4 that really stood out to me that I absolutely were my favorites. That was Third Grade. That's the second story in the collection, and it features this lovely young fellow here. And it's kind of written in a way how a child would, try to write something. It's kind of all over the place, basically how a child would try to tell, a story, or if you would have to explain something to them. It definitely feels that way. I think Donnie managed to capture the feel of a child, telling or, admitting something that he did that probably wasn't a good thing that he did. So I don't want to spoil anything more than that. It's this little kid He's writing a letter to his teacher, and he's basically, in the end, he's apologizing, but at the same time he's not apologizing. He's like, no, but I think what I did was pretty good. So typical kid behavior, you know. And I, and you know that I knew it was gonna end badly. I knew it was like, shit. It's a creepy kid kind of thing, you know, the creepy kid vibe that you get, and yeah, you definitely get that in the end. So I really enjoyed that. Then there was Magic in the Hat. Uh, I thought the title of the story was a lot misleading because I was not expecting yeah, the malevolent snowman that you can see here. So basically, it's about this tale of three boys who have been friends since they were little kids, and they've kind of had this kind of gang in like a gated community, and they're like, you know, they're privileged kids, and you know what they do, they can, you know, get away with it because they're white privileged kids in a gated community. And so they kind of been doing these kind of vandalisms and everything. And then it starts snowing, and you know, there's a snow day, and you know, schools are off. It's so funny that you Americans get, you know, the schools off when it's snowing. Doesn't happen here in Iceland. Even if it's like snow up to your knees, you're like, get your fucking ass back into school. You're not staying home. So yeah, so when there's school's off, and you know, there's a pile of snow, and people have been, you know, spending the day making snowman and stuff, and you know, these three guys, they just like, hey, you know what would be good night off? If we just went around and destroyed those snowmen. And that's their whole idea. They just like, yeah, let's go do that. And they get like the cross sticks, and they go around the neighborhood and smash these snowmen. But then things, they come across this kind of like really old house. It kind of looks, you know, the creepy house in the neighborhood, the typical thing. And you know, and shit starts to happen. And I like this one because it had a lot of how to say, my type of gore. Didn't really have that much descriptions, but enough that you would, you know, you were able to, you know, picture it in your mind, like, oh yeah, this is brutal. And it was done in such a clever way with the use of snowmen. It's kind of like Jack Frost goes crazy, basically. Is it called? It's Jack Frost, right? I think it's Jack Frost, or you know, or Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman. I think you guys have that. So yeah, I feel like Frosty the Snowman gone crazy. And yeah, so it's kind of like, I'm not gonna tell anything, but it has to do with that house, basically. And yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed the gore in this. And then I also love The Stranger in the Squared Circle. And it features this lovely chap here on the cover. And I really enjoyed that one. I'm not into wrestling. Like, wrestling in America and wrestling in Iceland is completely different. So I wasn't brought up watching a lot of American wrestling, so I'm not familiar with some of the terms that Donnie brought in the stories. Like, there was a lot of abbreviations, and I'm like, I don't know what these abbreviations were. Something to do with wrestling, I guess. So, you know, for an outsider like that doesn't live in America and hasn't been, you know, that much engrossed in this kind of American culture, you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. But the reason I enjoyed it was it has my type of element that I really enjoy, which includes vampirism. So yeah, that's all I can say. And I really enjoyed that. It was the longest story, and I thought the pacing was really nice. I still would have liked if, you know, once the showdown between the stranger, this guy here, and the main protagonist, Luke, sorry, Um, if Donnie had, you know, described it a little bit more, brought the tension up a little bit more, I think that would have been like a dead ringer. But still enjoyable. It was still long. I managed to, you know, follow through, and I did enjoy, you know, how it ramped it up all the way to the end. So I did like that. But my favorite one was A Bloody Heist. I really love that one. Um it was such a twist, and it was such an original, unique idea that I was really impressed. I was like, that's a really good idea, and I still bang my head up on it that I hadn't thought of it myself. Hate it when a lot of talented people get these better ideas than I have. So basically, it's just about these robbers who decided to rob an armored truck wearing these kind of like Dracula mask and a Nosferatu mask and an El Santo mask and Mr. Barlow mask. And they decided to, you know, hijack a armed vehicle. And they managed to do that by, you know, doing like a distraction, by having a pipe bomb at I think it was like a marathon? I think so, yeah. Yeah. Arlington Marathon. 2 days ago, their first bomb killed or critically injured 300 people in Arlington. So yeah, it was really interesting. And they managed to, you know, finish the heist, and they got all of managed to fill a lot of duffel bags full of stuff. And then the twist at the end is like, yeah, you kind of had like an inkling at the beginning. You're like, but then as as the story progresses, you start to doubt a little bit about that inkling of yours. You're like, maybe I was wrong. Interesting. But then at the end, you're like, oh yeah, exactly what I thought, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that, and especially these little elements and hints that they drop. Um, like here, they took away our health care. They wrote legislation to label us terrorists, and that whole time, none of them said a word. None of them moved an inch to help us. We were systematically hunted and forced to hide in the shadows like animals. They don't give a flying fuck about you or any of us. So, I mean, this, of course, can apply to anyone. And I just loved this kind of wording that they have, and it definitely can trick a reader into thinking that it can be, you know, anyone, but in fact is something entirely different. But it can, if that were real, it could apply to them as well. So I thought that was really brilliant, and it's a short read also. It's only like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 7 pages, and he managed to deliver that like in a really quick succession, and it was really fast. And I managed to feel the tension, especially as it was read through the eyes of El Santo, the woman who was wearing the El Santo mask, and you can just definitely feel the desperation that they have, that they needed to do this, and yeah, that was really good. But I also liked, even though it was short, and even though I kind of wanted a little bit more out of it, it was called Gobble Gobble. And it was basically, about turkeys. About people, about 2 guys who were working at a turkey slaughterhouse, and they get the comeuppance by the turkeys. I immediately thought of the turkey marathon run that was in Bob's Burgers. I immediately thought of that when I started reading it. I was like, this is reminiscent of Bob Burgers, and I kind of wonder if Donnie was watching that and they're just like, you know what? I can make it even better. So yeah, I liked that as well. Even though it was shorter, I think Donnie has the potential to, really dig into the tension. And the reason why I'm like only giving it a little bit 3.5 out of 5 stars is because most of the stories lacked a lot of the tension that you definitely saw, that it had potential to get like really nail biting anxiety-induced tension. But in the end, it kind of fell flat. So I'm hoping Donnie will be able. I know he is. I mean, he is definitely a really good writer. Definitely not saying that he isn't, but I know he has the potential to, rise above the stories that he's written now and be able to bring forth like really, 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 really good tension-filled stories. I know he has it in him. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to see that in his second collection. I think he's working on a second collection. But other than that, I mean, all the other stories were nice. I did enjoy them. But like I said, they lacked this kind of attention that I felt most of them started with, and you could have definitely brought a whole lot more punch to it in the end. So other than that, I really enjoyed them. And you can find the book on Amazon. I think you can also find them on bookshop.org. I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, I really enjoyed them. And I'm hoping to see more from Donnie Goodman. He definitely has the potential to becoming a really great writer, like among the top at least. And in the meantime, I'm gonna start reading a little bit more. So I hope you guys have a great week. And if you like my stuff, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.